Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Backstage Pass. I'm super excited. Never interviewed this gentleman before, but he has a plethora of awards. He's also up and nominated for his third Grammy this year, and he's been playing the organ since the age of 4. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome to the stage, Joey DeFrancesco. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Let's start at the beginning. I do want to talk about the Grammy nomination, which is awesome, and congratulations on that. But
thank you.
You've been playing since 4 years old.
Yes.
Come from a musical family.
Yeah, my dad plays. My dad's an organ player, so.
And your grandfather played, he was a musician also, right?
Yes, yes.
Do you, at 4, did they really push you into that? Or was that just a instinctual and habitual love?
They didn't push me at all. I heard the instrument, I saw the instrument. You know, the organ, the Hammond organ is huge and it has things you pull in and out and slide. So as a little kid, that's already something you want to play with.
It's like a toy, right?
Exactly. So I was ready. I jumped on it and I loved it. It was my favorite toy, you know, from 4 years old.
So they didn't have to encourage you a lot, but by the age of 5, you were playing songs like verbatim, right?
Yeah, well, 5, 6, yeah, stuff that I had heard on like Jimmy Smith and Jimmy McGriff records and things like that. Yeah. Was
your family blown away?
Yeah, it was. My dad, you know, he knew I was playing, and he also worked during the day, right? So
okay.
While he was at work, I would be home practicing, you know, like crazy, you know, and I would wait till I got the whole. There was a particular song, "The Sermon" by Jimmy Smith. I wanted to learn that whole solo, and I did.
At what age?
6.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. There's something wrong with me.
And no, not at all. But your brother's a musician too, correct?
My brother's a guitar player, yes.
Anywhere near as good as you are on the organ?
Oh, come on, man. That's my brother. How can I say? He's great. He's more of a blues guitar player.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I love the blues too, but you know, in the realm of like Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, those kind of things. So.
But you opened for B.B. King's too, for B.B. King, didn't you?
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah. And then you toured with Miles Davis.
I did.
How was that?
That was amazing. And again, I was just a baby. I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And Miles, you know, it was pretty amazing. There was something that was I'll never forget. You know.
I've spoken to Marcus Miller about Miles many times, but what's your impression? Because he had a pretty interesting reputation.
Yeah, I love Miles. If he dug you, if he liked you, you know, it was a whole other thing. If he didn't like you, it was a whole other thing.
Did you see the good and the bad?
I saw the good and the bad, but I was with him, you know, a couple years before, you know, the end for him, you know, before he passed away. So I think at that point he was very mellow, just a whole different situation going on with him in his life. So he was really cool. I think he was, I gotta say, he was a sweetheart. That's, to me.
When did you, I want to go back a bit now, when did you release your first album?
I signed my first record deal when I was 16 with Columbia Records.
And leading up to that, I mean, to be able to sign a record deal at 16, how did that affect your schooling? Were your parents like, I mean, they obviously knew that you're going to be a musician and be a superstar organ player, but there's still like a level of education that I'm sure they want you to have.
Oh yeah, and I finished high school. I mean, like...
Did you like it?
What?
High school?
Yeah, because I went to Creative and Performing Arts High School. Matter of fact, Christian McBride, we went to school 4 years together.
Oh, wow.
We were in the same school together. And we were alter egos, man. We were together every day. So we had a ball going to school and playing and rehearsing. And every once in a while, because we had to, we went to class.
Did you enjoy any of the classes?
The music ones.
Other than that?
No.
No.
Not really.
No.
That's all. I was like totally focused on. We had some hip teachers that understood
right.
us. You know, it was an art school, so they were. I mean, we had to get by academically. You couldn't just, you know,
sure.
That was part of the deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But what we loved was to play music and listen to music and talk about music. And most of the teachers were very well aware of, you know, the situation of, you got these young people that were artists.
So when you would go home after school, how long would you practice for? Because to be able to get to your level is just, it's very rare. You've won every, what is it, Jazz Times Readers Award and the Critics Award and Downbeat. I mean, you're in your own you're in your own level, you're in your own playing field.
Well, I mean, thank you. I think when you love it I loved it and love it so much that you don't feel like you're practicing, and you don't realize how long you're sitting at the instrument. And when we talk about practicing, I mean, at least for me, it wasn't like playing scales and things like that.
Right.
It was playing songs or play a blues or listen to a record and try to emulate what you were, when I was learning. And I could spend 4, 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes. I mean,
just get lost.
yeah, and you know how they tell most kids to practice or do? My mother and father would tell me to stop.
Really?
They would yell at me to stop. You got to go ride your big wheel or something.
Well, that was kind of going to be my next question. Did they have to like get you out of their house at times and?
Yeah, because I couldn't wait to play the instrument. I mean, we would go on a vacation. I remember one time we went on a vacation. We went to Disney World when I was a kid. We took the train.
So did that interest you? Did Disney World interest you at all?
Oh, yeah, it did. But the whole time I was driving, Dad, we got to find an organ store or somewhere I can go. Because they had organ stores back then.
Right.
In the mall or something. And I had to play. I mean, I would go crazy if I couldn't play.
And so would you take an organ on vacation?
No, they didn't really have any of that stuff then.
Right.
They didn't. Then finally, I guess I was around 11 or 12, they came out. Casio started making the small keyboards. That was great. 'Cause I took it everywhere.
Did you learn by ear? Was everything done by ear?
100%. I learned.
Because you couldn't sort of read music charts back then.
No, not back then. And really, my reading, that's one of the things. My ear, I could hear so good and learn so fast that I never really understood why I had to learn to read. And then when
Can you read well? Can you read the charts well?
Now?
Yeah. Right. No, I hear that from a lot of a lot of A-level musicians that the charts are okay, but everything's done by ear.
There's very few guys that can do, like that. It's rare, I mean, somebody like Christian McBride, he can read whatever you put in front of him.
Right. Okay.
So he's one of those rare guys. And when we were going to high school, I always said, man, I wish I could read like he did. So what happens is eventually, like I know how to read now.
Right.
Just not really fast,
Right.
I had to learn. I had to learn to some extent how, and now it's much easier. You go to a session. But what I would do is, and it's funny because you talk about that, from the time I was 10 to the time I was 15, I was taking classical piano lessons. Right?
Really?
Didn't learn nothing. and because what I would do, the teacher would, I learned a little slick move. I'd ask the teacher, can you play this for me one time so I could hear how to phrase it or something, so I could hear it.
Right.
And I could pretty much play.
So you were cheating.
I was cheating.
She thought, or he thought that you were reading it from the charts.
Yeah, it was she, and she figured it out though. And then she got real rough with me. You need to learn. You play your music and you play jazz, and that's great, but you have to learn. She was right though.
Right.
But it didn't matter. And I wanted to swing. I wanted to improvise.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Backstage Pass. Stick around. We'll be right back with Joey DeFrancesco. Welcome back to Backstage Pass. I'm here with Joey DeFrancesco. You've done, now you were in a film, right? Was it Moonlight Serenade?
Yeah. That was one of Amy Adams' early films.
What was it, 2009 or so?
I think that's when it came out. We filmed it in 2004.
Who did you play?
I played Frank D., club owner that played the organ.
Did you enjoy that?
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
You like acting?
I do. As a musician, that's part of what you're doing too. You don't realize it's kind of a natural thing, but.
Yeah, I was talking to Alonzo just yesterday, and he said that what he does is such a departure from acting because he is doing everything in his own words, but now he's got to do something in someone else's words. Did you find it difficult?
Yeah, because, we're constantly. That wasn't too bad because they kind of there were lines.
Right.
But there were lines like that I would say, because I worked very closely with the director
Uh-huh.
on that film. I was very involved with that. So he wanted to make this movie about music and musicians and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like a consultant. So kind of it was geared for me it was real natural for me to do. And
Was it nerve-wracking going on set? Because that was your first film, right?
yeah, my only film.
Right.
Yeah. First and only.
Yeah.
But yeah, not really, because it's less intimidating going on set, do a film. Of course, if I was with Robert De Niro or something like that, it might be different. But these were all fairly new actors at the time, right? So it's more intimidating getting on a stage with some bad music, like great musicians.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because not intimidating, but nerving or something like that, because it's on the spot. You could always shut the cameras off on the set.
Yeah, and you can do a take two.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors that love to perform as well, and they sing and do things like that, and they get really weird when they got to do it live, because they're used to being, hold on, I want to do it one more time,
Yeah.
like we can do in the studio,
Right.
But
So let me ask you about that. When you do go on stage, who are some of the people that have intimidated you? Or you've been nervous to play with?
Yeah, I can't say that anybody really, and I say this totally with no ego, not intimidated, because musicians, it's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So using that, but yeah, nervous. I mean, these legendary cats that, I was getting on a stage with Miles Davis or, Benny Golson or Dizzy Gillespie or, and it's just, you're so in awe of these people.
Right.
And I just want to play so much, I got to contain myself that I don't just play everything in 5 minutes, go crazy, But they're so cool. And they make you comfortable, and now that I'm getting to be an old man, I'm going to be 44 this year.
Oh, yeah, so old.
I start to understand that a little bit, because the next generation of guys that come and they start looking at you that way, and you understand how the musician made you feel comfortable, and that's important.
Did you often screw up with nerves?
No. Oh, I hope not. I probably felt like I did,
And did you ever get direction from the legends? Like, did Miles ever tell you?
Oh, yeah. Miles told me one of the most important things was, when you're playing, when you're younger too, and I had a lot of facility, I played a lot of stuff, I still do. I still sometimes, but, he said, put some holes in there.
Right, so don't overplay it.
Yeah. And I knew, it took me a minute, some holes, space.
Did you understand at the time?
I did, not immediately, but I did, in a couple of 30 seconds.
When you have up and coming kids that are learning and that you're sort of coaching through, what advice do you give them?
The most important thing is to listen to the other music. Well, obviously to all the as much music as you can.
Right.
And everybody's fortunate, as well as they become more and more fortunate with each generation because of the catalog, what they have available for them to listen to and study. There's so much music. So that's the most important thing. And when you're playing with other musicians, to listen to each other. You have to hear everything that's going on with everybody else in the band at all times. You can't be focused on just what you're doing, because it's a band.
That's interesting, because it's often sometimes when I'm speaking to singers that have been in groups or are still on their way up, they often say that other singers will try to like over-sing and out-sing them. And does the same thing happen with musicians a lot?
Yeah, until you learn that that's not what it's about.
Right.
The key word is band, right?
Right.
A band has no breaks in it. It's one piece.
Yep.
So the drummer's doing something, and the guitar player or whatever the instrument, everybody's doing their thing, but they're trying. The goal is to make it one thing that sounds great and brings you to that level of in the zone, I call it. And when you get that going, there's nothing like it. And you have to do that on the stage amongst each other before you worry about what the audience is doing. Because if they know that if it's congealing,
So, and because you did a great show, and so when you've got your trio, one, how long does it take for you to find those musicians? And two, often if you see someone that's a great musician, but then you get up there with them, there's not always the chemistry, right?
No, that's right.
So how long does it take for you to find your cats?
Well, you know, there's a certain school of guys where you could pretty much play together and it feels good, but that real thing where it's like incredible together, there's a few that you feel that with, and you just keep trying different people, and you got to play with them a while sometimes, and sometimes it happens, and sometimes it just doesn't, you know. And I had a group together for like 25 years, a trio,
Wow.
and that was like an unbelievable band, and so when I decided, you know what, after 25 years, I probably should change up a little bit, try something different, you know. Everybody needed to. So I spent maybe, and I played with some great musicians. I spent 2 or 3 years with each year I'd hire another different, you know. So, and this is a brand new band. I was mentioning last night, this was our second gig, right? I'm so thrilled with these guys. I feel like I've been playing with these guys forever.
Is there the unspoken?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's all there. It's the telepathic things that happen. When I get that, when I feel that, we all feel it. It's like, man. You know, and it's important when you're a leader of a group, that just means you're a leader in the business sense that you're going to get a lot of gigs for the group, but everybody's equal in the situation.
Right.
You can't, I've seen groups where a guy's out front and he's playing and don't even look at the other guy. I mean,
Right.
you know, to have that, everybody is important. You got to make each other sound good. You know?
So you play. You know, this was your second gig with this trio, with this band.
Yes.
Which is great. You're on top of the ball because everything's like gelling. It's all harmonious. It's like the jigsaws come together. What happens when that doesn't work? Do you say, I just need to find someone new?
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, I mean, you take a gamble with that because you give people a lot of dates.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And I'm also very, it's important, loyalty is very important to me. So if I tell somebody we're going to do that, you do them. If something is totally not happening, you have to make a change. But that, I mean, I've never been in a situation that bad where it was just like, no way, you know.
And are there some guys that you would just not play with?
Yeah. But we won't mention those.
Well, we might when we come back right after this break. You're watching Backstage Pass with Joey D. Welcome back to Backstage Pass. I'm here with Joey DeFrancesco. I want to talk about your Grammy nomination in a minute, but in the meantime, you do a radio show on Sirius XM's Real Jazz.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Been doing it since last June.
You like it?
I love it. It's great. So much fun.
Do you get full creative control?
I do. I really do. It's wonderful because, it's called organized. So, but the whole thing is to be able to play. I want everybody to hear the masters, of course.
Right.
And I have a lot of rare recordings and things, so I'm playing a lot of things that are out of print and things like you even hear vinyl sometimes.
So they don't give you a catalog to play from. It's like whatever you want to play.
Yeah, they have a catalog, but
Sure.
I can, So, and then at the same time, I'm mixing in the new faces that are on the scene too. So it's a nice little collage of what's happening on the organ scene.
When's it on?
It's on Fridays, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. So whatever your time zone is, base it on that. So it's on at like 4 o'clock in California.
And what channel?
67, Real Jazz.
67 Real Jazz. Yeah, we've got a partnership with Sirius XM, and not only on some of our other cruises, but we're working on that as well. So, and I know Marcus does his Miller Time and things like that. So
right.
It's great to have you all on. Now, tell me about the Grammy nomination.
This is
third one.
This is the third one. Maybe it's a charm, but
Three's a charm.
This is a pretty cool one because it's a record we did for Blue Note, and it features myself with Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, David Sanborn is on it, I'm playing alto, and Billy Hart on drums. So we're all leaders on a date, so we're all getting nominated, so they'll have to give 4 Grammys away. And it's really cool, if that happens.
How long did you play with Sanborn for?
We worked together from 2000, we started in 2010, And we did about 3 tours that year, and up until the end of last year, we did things. I wasn't 100% doing that. I was still running my group, but we did quite a bit together.
Was it good to then come back and collaborate with him for the album?
Oh yeah. Dave's great. I mean, you know Dave good.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how does that? Let me ask you, how does that work in terms of when you got 4 leaders on an album, and do you choose a certain amount of songs? Does someone put the set list together?
That's exactly it's all original material.
Right.
So I wrote 2 tunes, Dave wrote 2 tunes, and Bobby had 3 on there. So.
And what happens in the event that you're not real wild about, one of the other tunes? Do you speak up?
Oh yeah, the musicians will say, this isn't really comfortable, this doesn't really work for this group.
Did that happen at all?
Yeah.
Whose tunes got cut?
Dave's. No. Only because he didn't want to do it. It was a tune that actually he just didn't want to do it.
Oh,
we
really?
all dug it, and he didn't feel. No, I don't want to. Okay, Dave.
I spoke to him just 2 weeks ago, and he was saying he's got a new album that's coming out, but he's such a perfectionist, and he continues to go back and then criticizes his own work and that's probably what happened here. Do you do the same thing?
No, I mean, some musicians are that way. I'm really happy that I'm not that way, because it's just I go when I go to record something. 90% of my records are the first take.
Right.
With no editing, and no solos over, none of that. No, because
recorded live.
Yeah, live in the studio, and for me, because the energy level on that first take is always so strong. Now, if you have to do a second take, okay. Third take is really, that's absolutely the last one. After that, try it another day.
Really?
For me, yeah, because it starts to you lose the energy and the freshness.
Right.
And that fun thing that's happening is like, do another one. Okay, do another one. Man, if I have to do a second one, I get aggravated.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it come off in your sound? The aggravation?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, when I say who knows? It might. I don't hear it later on, and I don't think anybody would.
So do you mix it?
Yeah.
You mix it?
Definitely. I'm involved with all the mixes. I'm not actually moving the,
right.
A professional engineer. So many things to know about that, but I'm there.
And do you have any other projects coming up? Are you working on any of your own stuff?
Yeah, I just put a Christmas record out last year, which was really fun. I always want to do that.
Is there any originals on it?
Yeah, I wrote 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny because another group of friends of mine that just released an album, Christmas album. It's hard to do a Christmas album because the catalog of Christmas songs is like incredibly long.
It is, and I did a double album.
Okay.
There's 23 songs on it. And the way we did it was we did 2 parts. One was called The Party, and the other one was called The Tradition. So it had all the liturgical things.
Got it. Okay.
The other one had Santa Claus and Rudolph and all that good stuff on it. But Christmas music's great, and it's a perfect vehicle for jazz and soloing and having fun with it.
The 2 that you wrote, what album were they on, or one of each?
There was one. No, they were both on The Party.
They were both on The Party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, let me ask you this. The Grammys, you were nominated in what, was it 04? 2004?
The first one? No, the first one was, what was the first one? First one was 04, good, right. Yeah, man.
And I think 09 or 010?
10.
10.
And now this one.
Okay, and now, when you get nominated for the first time, you're extremely thrilled, you're nervous.
Oh, yeah.
You don't win. Do you beat yourself up?
No.
Take it with a bit of a grain of salt?
No, you know what? It's just to get nominated. It's very difficult.
Absolutely.
To get nominated. In 2004 when I was nominated, you remember I was like my 15th or 16th record.
Right.
So at that point, it's like to get nominated. It was like, this is awesome that got nominated. And of course, everybody thinks they're going to win when they get nominated.
Do you?
The first time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to win, And then after you don't, okay.
Were you surprised to learn that album was nominated?
Not really. I mean,
You thought it was your best one at the time?
no, I didn't think it was the greatest record I ever made, but I thought what I got nominated for wasn't the record. It was a solo I took on one of the songs. Best jazz solo is what it was.
Got it.
And I thought it was a pretty good solo, so, you know, I didn't know, see what happened. But Chick Corea won.
Okay.
You know, you can't argue with that.
No, you're right. Now then in 2010?
2010 was the record. And it was actually, I was nominated for Best Contemporary Jazz Record. I did a record with the music of Michael Jackson.
Right.
Called Never Can Say Goodbye. And that got nominated, and Stanley Clarke won that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask, when you are doing covers, like you're doing a whole Michael Jackson album or covering anybody else's songs, how, in terms of percentage, how much do you keep original? Because they've done it, and obviously it was a success, so much so that someone else is covering it. How much of that do you alter and put your own influence in?
That's a good question. I did the arrangements very similar. Like
Okay.
we did Thriller, right? And I wanted people to be able to sing along, because the people that know these songs, they know the words and everything. Because it was great music, you know.
Yep.
So I wanted to make sure people could sing along. So the melodies were intact, how many phrases, how many verses. Then it gets to the solo section, and that's where I put my stamp, our stamp on it, you know. I mean, with Thriller, I did the whole Vincent Price section and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then there were some songs that are a little more different. Like I did Billie Jean, and that's definitely like a straight-ahead jazz, minor blues.
Okay.
But there's some that are strict arrangements of pretty much how they were originally done. You know?
That's awesome.
So.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you tune in to Sirius XM's Real Jazz for Joey D's, what's the name of the show again?
Organized.
Organized. And look, I want to wish you the best of luck for the Grammys, because third time's a charm, and I think it's about time too.
Thank you, Dave.
So, and you've won so many awards from Downbeat and Jazz Times and everything, and you know, we love having you on the ship, so hopefully we'll see you back shortly, and have great shows while you're here, and good luck with the Grammys. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Joey DeFrancesco.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.